Nigerian's energy sector has always been dramatic, but the last few weeks, it's been a trailer. On one side, Nigeria's richest man, Aliko Dangote, and his $1 billion mega refinery. On the other hand, Pengassan, Nigeria's powerful oil workers union. At the heart of it, jobs, union rights, fuel scarcity, and the future of Nigerians' energy independence. But let's start at the very beginning. When the Dangote Refinery finally began operations, Nigerians saw it as a game changer. No more crippling petrol imports, no more endless queues at filling stations, and no more subsidy drama. But from the jump, there were tensions. Dangote introduced its own workers' union, a move that many saw as an attempt to sideline Pegasus, the traditional powerhouse of Nigeria's petroleum labor movement. At the same time, the company rolled out an ambitious fleet of compressed natural gas (CNG) trucks to transport fuel across the country. Now, on paper, this sounded brilliant. CNG trucks meant cheaper, cleaner fuel distribution. A new union could mean smoother operations. But to Pegasus, this looked suspicious. Why form a new in-house union when one already exists? Was this a way to weaken labor power? To keep workers under tighter control? Tensions began to simmer. Then came the bombshell. In late September 2025, Dangote Refinery management dismissed over 800 Nigerian workers. The company said it was a reorganization, that some staff had been involved in sabotage, that safety was at risk, and that the refinery couldn't tolerate indiscipline. But Pegasus saw it differently. To them, this wasn't about safety, it was about punishment. Many of those dismissed, they said, were union members, workers who are dared to challenge management or who resisted his new union project. And then came the bitterest claim that Nigerians were being sacked while foreign expatriates, mostly Indians, were being brought in to take their place. Pegasus didn't just protest, they went nuclear because they knew very well that when Nigerians hear this debate across the country, you guys, you remember a while back, just immediately after the project of a refinery was completed, Dangote Refinery was accused of importing workers all the way from his home state, Kaduna, instead of employing Lagos State indigenes. He was accused of, packing them truckload full from his home state down to Lagos to employ them instead of employing Lagos indigenes. So Pegasus definitely knew that if Nigeria hears that Dangote is not employing Nigerians but importing workers all the way from India and all of that, Nigerians are going to spark. And of course, it sparked debate, which is what Pegasus was expecting. Pegasus then ordered their members across Nigeria's oil companies to cut off crude oil and gas supply to the Dangote refinery. Think about that for a second. A refinery is like a living organism. Crude oil, it is blood. Cut the supply, the whole system collapses. Pegasus even threatened to extend the strike nationwide, halting production and transport across the oil sector. It was a move designed to hit Dangote where it hurt the most, its pockets. And it worked. Within days, Nigerians' oil output reportedly fell by 16%. Power generation dropped by over 1,200 megawatts, all because gas supply to power plants also blocked. Factories dimmed, lights flickered, fuel queues started appearing. For ordinary Nigerians, this wasn't just a union fight anymore. This was about whether there would be petrol in their tanks and lights in their homes. And of course, the government couldn't just watch. The Labour Minister, Dr. Mohammed Maigari Dinyadi, called both sides to the table. His message: unionization is a legal right. No worker should be victimized. But Pengassan, your strike is crippling the country. We need a compromise. And compromise did come. The deal looked like this. One, the sacked workers wouldn't lose their jobs entirely. They would be redeployed to other Dangote Group companies. They wouldn't lose pay. That's number two. Number three, there would be no victimization for being part of a union. Then lastly, in return, Pengassan would call off a strike. On October 1st, 2025, the union suspended its industrial action. Nigeria breathed a sigh of relief. Or did it? Because here's the twist, guys. Pengassan later revealed that no formal agreement had been signed. Yes, workers were promised redeployment. Yes, a handshake, but no paper. So, in essence, nothing binding the agreement. So, the union warned: if Dangote backtracks, if workers are sidelined or punished, the strike could come back, and this time bigger. Analysts now call it a fragile truce. Peace today, but uncertainty tomorrow. Now, let's break it down. Who really feels the weight of all this? Not Dangote, definitely. Not even Pegasus. But it's Nigerians, the normal average Nigerians. When the refinery halts, fuel scarcity, queues, black markets, higher transport fares. When gas supply is cut, power drops, factories shut early, generators roar louder. When fuel prices rise, food prices rise, inflation goes up. And let's not forget foreign exchange. The refinery recently stopped selling petrol in naira, only in dollars. That means more pressure on Nigerians' already fragile currency. So this isn't just a labor fight. It's about how 200 million people live, work, and survive. For Dangote, this episode has been a nightmare. A refinery that cost $20 billion, designed to be Nigerians' pride, is now in headlines for mass sackings, union busting, and fuel scarcity. Reputational damage is real. Investors are nervous. The public is skeptical. And yet, Dangote also has a point. Managing a refinery of this scale is not a child's play. Efficiency, safety, and discipline matters. If sabotage truly happened, management can't just look away. So the dilemma is this: how do you run a private business with global ambitions while still recognizing that your business is also Nigerians' lifeline? So, where does this go from here? We have three scenarios. Number one, old peace. Dangote keeps its promises, workers return to jobs in sister companies, and operations stabilize. Fuel scarcity eases and Nigeria moves forward. Two, the truce collapses. Dangote sleeps on the deal. Pegassan resumes its strike, and the refinery faces another shutdown. Kill more fuel queues and economic chaos. Three, government crackdown. If both sides refuse to bend, Abuja may impose stronger laws or regulatory measures, forcing compliance at the cost of investor confidence. One thing is certain, this is not the last we'll hear of Dangote versus Pengassan. This isn't just about one billionaire or one union, it's about power. Power in the workplace, power in government, power at the pump. For Nigeria, the Dangote Pegassan face-off is a warning. You cannot build energy independence on shaky labor relations, because in the end, when the unions fight, icons, it's ordinary people who pay the price. This is the battle for Nigerians' energy future, and it's only just begun. Let's have your total new opinions in the comments section. Do you think that Dangote would renege on its promises, considering that this is not, an agreement made on paper? This was just a verbal truce. This was just a verbal agreement. And Pegassan has said that as soon as they realize that Dangote is not fulfilling the promise, they are going to go back on the strike. That the strike is just being temporarily really cancelled. That they are waiting for Dangote. They are waiting to see if Dangote is going to keep his promise or not. You guys, I will keep you all posted on these. Subscribe if you have not already done that. Like this video because you don't want to miss the juicy news I have coming for you. I will see you all in my next video. Bye for now.
The salaries that they are paying these 800 members in Dangote Refinery, if you add all of them together, it is less than 120 Pengassan members in some organization earn today. When you go to Petrol, you go to Total Energy, you go to ExxonMobil, you go to some institutions in Nigeria that are Pengassan. I don't want to call some names. The total salary that they are paying to these 800 people, it is less than 120 of Pengassan members earn. So why should we? And we have them in tens of thousands. So why should we be chasing these people because of what? Check-up bills? No. Check-up bills is a percentage of what you earn. Your salary is bigger. If you add the entire check-up bills together, I'm not sure it's up to the check-up of the Miss branch we have in Pengassan. So gentlemen of the press, let's be serious here. It is actually about the freedom of association of our members and also how to better their lives. Because Pengassan, we are known for one thing. When we go into organization, we better the lives of our members.
Solidarity forever.
They fully subscribe to join Pengassan because they want their lives to be much more better. They want their condition of service to be much more better. They want their take-home pay to be commensurate with the other take-home pay that exists in the oil and gas industry. That was why they subscribed to us. And that was why we accepted them to better their lives. So any other narrative is zero. That do we want to keep Dangote investment? We laugh. Which investment are we going to kill? At the time, Shell has over 10,000 Pengassan members. Shell has invested over $200 billion in Nigerian oil and gas industry. Total Energy, ExxonMobil, Petrol, they have invested close to $200 billion in the Nigerian oil and gas industry. Dangote has only invested about $20 billion. Why didn't we kill Shell? Instead, we have assisted Shell to grow. We have assisted Total to grow. We have assisted ExxonMobil to grow. That is what we do. We are senior staff association. We are middle level management. We form the bulk and the cream of the workers in the oil and gas industry. We are the people that have carried the body of Nigeria in our shoulders. Because the oil and gas industry has accounted for over 90% of our foreign exchange earnings. Firmly, they also stood at their position. But at the point, the federal government waded in. They said, okay, we have had both parties, but as federal government, we want to wade in. And that is the communique that you have seen. And if you see that communique, it was signed by only the government because we were not satisfied with the things that were in that communique. But, comrades, after examining the community, we saw a lot of gray areas and a lot of loopholes in the community, which we communicated to government. They gave us assurances that they will be on top of this. All the questions we asked, all the issues we raised, they told us that we should not worry, that they will be on top of it. We wish to once again thank the National Security Advisor. That industrial action was predicated on one single thing. We've read a lot of things in the media. We're just laughing because a lot of people are clearly ignorant. The industrial action that we embarked on was caused by just a singular thing, and that was the mass sack of over 800 Nigerians that subscribed freely, voluntarily, to join Pengassan. Gentlemen of the press, about 2 weeks ago, over 800 comrades, Nigerians working for Dangote Petrol Limited filled forms to join Pengassan. This was done voluntarily on their own as a response to the communique that was signed previously in the Ministry of Labour with Dangote, NUPED, co-signed by NLC and TUC. So these workers ran to us that they want protection, that they want to exercise their freedom to join an association, as well as their freedom to their right to collective bargaining. They filled the forms, they signed the forms. When this was done, we communicated to Dangote Refinery and Petrochemical Management. There is a difference between NNPC, the profit NNPC has made. NNPC today it's a private enterprise, but it is owned by the Ministry of Finance Incorporated and the Ministry of Petroleum Incorporated. So the profit being made from NNPC is supposed to go to these shareholders. There is a difference. Let's listen, gentlemen of the press. There is a difference between the profit that NNPC makes and pay dividend to the shareholders and the management of national assets on behalf of the Federation. There is a difference. Someone asked, the relationship, we have been shouting NLNG model and what is applicable today. Comrade, this is what we are saying. Gentlemen of the press, this is what we are alluding to. Today, in the refineries, NNPC is all those refineries 100%. NNPC manages those refineries 100%. NNPC board or the GCEO, as the case may be in the past, is the one that we appoint the MD and all other senior management in the refineries. But this is quite different from what we are talking about today. When we say JV, JV is joint venture. And this joint venture is a joint venture between the various IOCs, as the case may be, and the government. So it is between the IOC and the government. But that government shares today is being managed by NNPC Limited on behalf of the Federation, not on behalf of federal government. So when we say Federation, Federation is everybody state, local, and federal government. So it's everybody. So as of today, NNPC Limited, the companies I have named now, NNPC is not the company managing those operations on a daily basis. Oando is the one is responsible for managing Oando Energy and Natural Resources. They are responsible for managing some of these assets in Oando. Then Renaissance, they are the ones responsible for managing those assets in Renaissance. The same thing, Seplat is responsible for managing those assets on behalf of the JV. So it is not NNPC as the case of refinery. So it's different. In the refinery, NNPC manages refinery 100%. But in this case, the federation owns is in JV